Sometimes we think we are running away from something, only to discover that life has been leading us somewhere else all along. When Faith Uwantege arrived in Musanze in 2011, she wasn't searching for a purpose, she was searching for a way to heal. What she found would change not only her own life, but the lives of thousands of children.
After losing my father in 2011, I found myself in Musanze for the very first time. A friend of mine called me to come and visit, to stay away, because as a daddy's girl, I used to find myself going to visit my dad. And I remember a good friend of mine telling me that, Faith, you shouldn't do that to yourself. You should move on. Yes, you need time to grieve, but what you're doing to yourself is not helping you at all. So I made a trip to Musanze, visited my friend, and she said, you know what, Faith? I'm quitting this job and I think this is a great opportunity for you. I got the job. I worked with Sub-Junior Silverback Lodge.
What began as a simple act of compassion soon became impossible to walk away from.
I remember waking up every day and I'm thinking, how did I get here? How did I leave Kigali to come to this village? I would see so many children walking through the villages barefoot, and my heart was moved. I stopped. I asked the children where they came from. Next thing I know, going to their homes, buying food for them, buying notebooks and pens.
One child led to another. One family revealed another struggle. Before long, Faith realized that helping where she could was no longer enough. If these children were to have a future, she would have to build one with them.
Right there, I knew that it was time for me to quit my job again and get involved fully.
It was a lesson no classroom could teach. A hungry child cannot fully learn, dream, or thrive.
Our first classroom wasn't a school at all. It was my living room. Every day, more than 50 children gathered in my living room to learn. I would give them a nutritious cup of porridge. I later on discovered that many of these children would have this cup of porridge as the only meal until they came back to school the next day.
For Faith, education could no longer begin with books alone. It had to begin with dignity, nourishment, and hope.
So I started also providing a nutritious meal. There were so many hard days. There were so many days and nights that I actually thought of quitting. I think the only thing that kept me going was waking up to the children's faces in my living room. I would sleep hungry to make sure that these children have everything they need.
She was only 23 years old, while many of her friends were building careers and planning their futures. Faith was making a different choice, giving up her own comfort so vulnerable children could hold on to theirs. It was a journey filled with doubt, sacrifice, and uncertainty, but one she chose every single day.
The first couple that ever came to visit the children, they asked me, Faith, what do you need? What can we do for you? I didn't have a straight answer, I just cried. They asked me to look for a piece of land, which I did happily. In 3 days, with the help of the local authorities, I got the right piece of land that I needed.
Sometimes the biggest turning points don't begin with grand plans or impossible dreams. Sometimes they begin with one simple question, and with one person willing to believe in another.
From 2012 to date, I have had a privilege to serve more than 2,800 children. Today, when I walk through the school, I don't just see classrooms. I see answered prayers.
Years have passed since those first lessons in a small living room. What once existed only in the heart of a grieving young woman has grown into a place where thousands of children have found education, nourishment, protection, and confidence to dream beyond their circumstances.
I dream of building a village of hope where these vulnerable children and their families will have access to healthcare, nutritious meals, additional classrooms, a modern library, and a computer lab. Our Future Keepers Conservation Club, where a child loves, protects, and becomes a guardian of our environment.
For Faith, the story is still being written. The dream has grown far beyond a classroom. It is now a vision of stronger families, empowered women, and children who will one day protect not only their own futures, but the futures of their communities.
If people had not believed in me, I would not have come this far. If we can pull each other up through the small acts of kindness, you'll never know how far this can go.
Some stories begin with extraordinary resources. This one began with an extraordinary conviction. A young woman carrying the weight of grief, a living room filled with children, a cup of porridge, a stranger who chose to help, and a belief that every child deserves a chance.
I'm very grateful to God because I made the first step, and He did the rest. Throughout the years, God has taught me to be very, very patient. Looking back, I've been through so much for these children to be where they are today. I have learned that the smallest of things are the ones that matter the most. I have held on throughout all the storms because of these children. And I want to appreciate my children, the FF children. Thank you so much. Thank you for not giving up. I love you and keep fighting, and I wish you a brighter future.
Today, more than 2,800 lives bear witness to what can happen when one person refuses to give up. Because in the end, the greatest act of kindness are never measured by where they begin, but by the lives they transform.